For almost a month now, thousands of farmers in India have been camped just outside the capital Delhi, protesting against the government of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Farmers say 3 new agricultural laws passed in September could make them worse off. The government says the farmers are wrong. These opposing views have led to a deadlock despite several rounds of negotiations between both sides. DW's Nimisha Jaiswal and Shariq Ahmed met these farmers for their view on what's at stake.
3 weeks out in the winter cold, passions are still running high at this protest. Thousands of farmers have occupied this main highway to Delhi with a simple ultimatum: repeal the new farm laws or we will stay put. Ratinderbir Kaur has worked tirelessly at a free kitchen to feed the protesting farmers. She sees the blockade as an opportunity. She wants to teach her young daughters what it means to fight for their rights.
We've come here to show our kids how to protest, to struggle. When they grow up, they should know we are Sikhs, we are farmers. It is our duty.
Beyant Singh believes the new farm laws will likely slash margins on his sugarcane crop. The new legislation allows farmers to sell to corporates, but Singh believes this will eventually undermine the security of a minimum support price guaranteed by the government. He is also frustrated that farmers were not consulted before the laws were passed. For him, it is an unwanted gift.
The government is trying to explain to us why these laws are for our benefit. They aren't listening to us. The government thinks we're ignorant, we don't understand the law. What they don't understand is that a farmer who takes a crop from seed to harvest knows everything.
And it is this determination to make the government listen that has made this protest a growing force to reckon with. That is the border of Delhi. And this 12-kilometer stretch, peppered with free medical camps and food kitchens, is a temporary home for thousands of farmers. This is the protest village. Veteran rural affairs journalist P. Sainath is out here to talk to the farmers. In his view, the negotiations collapsed because amending what he calls fundamentally bad laws won't change their content. He also says this government's lack of consistency on promises made to farmers over the years has increased their distrust. He acknowledges that the current system needs reform, but he feels these laws fail to do that.
Even if you repeal these laws, which I think you should, you haven't solved the agrarian crisis. The agrarian crisis has been on for 28 years. Yeah? 330,000 farmers have taken their own lives.
For now, the young and the old have come together, determined to make their voices heard. Despite the bitter cold and the deadlock, their spirits are high. For 69-year-old Sukhwant Singh Cheema, this protest is a celebration. Cheema has tilled land since childhood, and he says the time has come to teach the government a much-needed lesson.
We've been protesting in Punjab for 3 months now. The Prime Minister could have said something to us then. Now that we've come to his home, he's run away. Is that how you treat guests? We're ready to stay for 6 months. This isn't even the beginning. We're just getting started.
The government insists that the farmers are misunderstanding the intent of the law. However, the farmers say they haven't faced water cannon and baton charges for a cause they don't grasp. They are adamant they will not give up till the Modi government backs down.
And joining me for more now is Ajay Jakhar. He's a farmer himself and chairman of the Bharat Krishak Samaj, a farmers' organization in India. Ajay, good to have you on the program. Now, despite assurances from the government to the contrary, farmers are still convinced that they will be worse off under the new farm laws. Why is that?
See, various governments over the last many years, in a bid to keep food inflation in control, have artificially suppressed farm gate prices for years, literally for decades. And now the majority of farmers who are not getting assured prices want assurances for their produce, while the few farmers who get assured prices are worried that they will lose the benefits. Now, these fears are not unfounded. In the run-up to these 3 three acts that have been formulated by the parliament, there have been many indications from government functionaries and government offices about limiting or doing away with support price mechanisms as they exist. The CACP, which sets the support prices, or the central bank, the Reserve Bank of India, or a union minister have all said in somewhat clear terms about the possibility of how support prices are not sustainable. And that's why the fears actually exist.
But the overall argument coming from the government side, Ajay, appears to be that farmers will have more choice. They will not be bound by the government marketplaces where they get these assured support prices that you're referring to. I mean, all that sounds quite reasonable, doesn't it?
See, now I'll just give you an example of what these combination of these three bills do. Now imagine a stock exchange which without a regulator, where share transactions are not recorded, where data is not collected, where the aggrieved party, in this case the farmers, are being denied redressal recourse of civil courts. You know, farmers have a choice if traders come to one platform. Disaggregated markets don't increase competition, but they increase monopoly, as even price discovery becomes impossible for farmers. In such a situation, terms of trade will become worse for farmers, and over a longer term, the choices will vanish.
Now, there is, I think, one point of agreement, at least between the centre and the farmers, and that is that Indian agriculture requires an overhaul, and the government is adamant that these laws help to do that. So what you are saying is that that is not the case, and the government's intentions are perhaps less than noble?
No, not at all. I think the government's intentions are very noble. They want to do good for the majority of the people. But the way the bureaucracy has gone about enacting these laws, the trust deficit between the government and farmers has increased. These officials have not only misled the Prime Minister's office, they did not consult farmers or state governments before notifying these ordinances. So rather than focus on processes, they have been fixated on outcomes. And whenever that is done, the end result is never a good one.
But there have been at least 5 rounds of negotiations with the government, and the government has assured farmers that, look, these minimum prices of support will be available, yet the farmers don't seem convinced.
No, it's not about just minimum support prices. Very small portion of the farmers get minimum support prices. It's farmers feel that these bills will take away whatever little benefits they have of the markets. I think so. It's the government's responsibility to be magnanimous, to listen to the farmers, to win their trust, have empathy. It's necessary that farmers return to their villages, not feeling that they have lost a battle, but with reassurances that the central government is working for their benefit and not working for oligarchs and corporate houses. I think the ball is in the central government's court to win the hearts of farmers.
Ajay, how do you see these protests ending? Do you see this deadlock continuing?
I hope the government stops listening to their bureaucracy. I hope the government starts listening to the people who've elected them. And I think it's in the hands of the government now to end these protests. And as I said, the government has good intentions. Now it needs to find a way to translate those intentions into actions.
Ajay Veer Jakhar, pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.